On behalf of Jameis Winston, the Legacy Agency has filed the trademark for, quote, Famous Jameis, a nickname given to Jameis during his 2 years at Florida State. Russ Spillman, a partner with the agency, said, quote, we have begun taking steps to protect our client and his intellectual property rights. Right now, his sole focus is on football. We hope to utilize this way down the line. All right, so look, his whole focus is on football, Kate. They have just begun taking the steps to protect his intellectual property rights. Not unheard of. Johnny Manziel, RG3, Kaepernick for Kaepernicking. What is your take on this?
I support it 100%. I mean, sports is a space right now where you've got owners who are capitalizing on everything. Every piece of merchandise that has these guys' names on it, they get a piece of it. Owners, primarily, and also obviously equipment makers. But why shouldn't the athletes have a part of the moments and the catchphrases that they're trademarking? And I use trademark not in the literal sense, but now they're making it the literal sense. I just think these guys have to follow in the footsteps of Michael Jordan, a guy we were talking about earlier. Limited time where they're important and in the spotlight and they can capitalize on this stuff. They absolutely should. They should be able to add pennies, add dollars to what they're making because they're making so much more money for other people. So if they can take a cut of that, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like it. Like, I just wish you could do it quietly. Like, but nothing is sacred anymore. Like, you can't just file this thing because it's not Jameis Winston going out there saying, I want to do this. It's his people. It's his camp. It's his agency. They're doing the best to protect his financial interests, which they should. And yeah, if he does want to become the next Michael Jordan, as we talked about, then this is the first step in getting there. And savvy business people make decisions like this. Donald Trump, you're fired, wanted to trademark that. So I have no problem with him doing that. I just wish you could do it because look at the names we mentioned. Manziel, RG3, Kaepernick. You know, 2 out of 3 of those, and, you know, some 49ers haters might say that it's 3 out of 3. Their careers have not blossomed. I don't like when too many athletes put the cart before the horse and they just instantly walk in and they're superstars before they've done anything. And saying that from the locker room standpoint, it can create some tension, as we saw with RG3. The rest of the locker room was not thrilled with his antics because the attitude in the NFL, no matter where you're selected, 1 overall, 7th round, last pick in the draft, what have you done for me? Have you proven it on the field? So yes, you can be a superstar. If you're Tom Brady, I guarantee his teammates have no problem with his Uggs deal. You know, like they have no problem with that. But until you've done it and proven yourself, just dial it back a little bit. But I don't have a problem with this, you know, trademarking the name. But some of the endorsement stuff, I would say, wait till you do that. Look, I think Russell Wilson has done an exceptional job of it because he got the Super Bowl and then you started to see more of him. And granted, he was a 3rd-round pick, so he didn't have the opportunities. But like Andrew Luck, you haven't seen him really out there yet. Like
He's all business, no frills.
But I like that.
Trademark at this point, right?
Well, a beard maybe. I don't know.
But business-wise, I mean, why in the locker room is this going to cause a problem? Guys are always saying, we know this is a business.
I don't think that necessarily would be the problem. I think it can create a problem if the guys buy into the superstardom. And a lot of it depends on their interaction with the team and what kind of teammate they are. But ultimately, if you're getting all these endorsement deals and you haven't done anything yet on the field, it will create jealousy. Like, that's what it'll come in.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a very fair point. I hear the locker rooms get really, really jealous over this.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy, but go ahead.
It's not crazy because if you think somebody is getting more cake than you are, you're not going to just let that sit and not say anything about it. I'm not against any athlete or anybody making as much money as they can. At the Coleman compound in Lawton, New York, it's a family model for years, as far as I'm concerned. But you know what? I don't think there's been like a high demand of people named Jameis trying to infiltrate his trademark of Famous Jameis because I haven't heard anybody else with that name. It's a great name. It works with Famous. It works for him. I clearly understand that. But you haven't even signed with an NFL team yet. And I think you're setting yourself up for a lot of pressure, adding more pressure to what's already going to be there. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in my opinion, are going to take him #1 overall. So now you're going to be the face of that franchise. They're expecting you that you're going to be the next great quarterback. So, yeah, if you're Jameis Winston, you want to trademark Famous Jameis, that's fine. If that's going to work for you, you're getting the right advice as far as I'm concerned. Kate, to your point, I don't have a problem with it. But, you know, go out and deliver.
Yeah.
That's the whole deal. If you're going to do that, if you're going to fat mouth yourself about trademarking Famous Jameis, all right, you know, I'm in. You know, I'll play along. But if you don't go out there and deliver it, we know how the narrative is going to go, where you don't want to hear about this Famous Jameis trademark. And people are going to say, wait a minute,
you're the one that put this out there before you threw a pass in the National Football League. So, yeah, if you're going to have that as association with your name and making that work for you, we're going to buy in with it. But to make sure that people buy in, you better go out and be that famous Jameis. Because if you're not, all of a sudden it's going to change to infamous Jameis. And that's the last thing you're going to want because you got to live up to that. So, fine, go out there and do it and make that work for you.
Is it a business decision that they're doing it before everybody else gets to?
Well, who's going to trademark famous Jameis if it's not their name?
Well, people are trying to steal it.
Yeah,
they'll try to steal it to get
Really?
You get in front of it before anybody
Wow.
else.
And talk about
Maybe
the
I'm
risk.
naive on that then. Maybe that's on me then.
Talk about the
Stuff like
risk
that.
reward here. Where is this guy getting pressure from legitimately? Being the #1 overall pick, his history is bringing a lot of pressure. This specific move, maybe it's like a piece of sand on a sandbag in terms of what it's adding to his shoulders. Now the reward is that he gets ahead of himself financially, puts himself in a better position, and owns certain properties that could be lucrative. So for me, the reward is there for the risk of like, oh, what are people going to say if this doesn't pan out? Money-wise, it makes sense.
I don't think it's a risk from that standpoint, Kate, because no matter what you trademark your name, you still got to go out there and deliver. I think there's more of a risk there to me that if he doesn't deliver being the #1 pick in the draft, that happens to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Believe me, if he doesn't deliver, we're not going to worry about him trademarking his name, making money off it.
Exactly.
So like I said, I'm okay with it. But you know what? Go out. I want you to deliver. I want you to be that famous Jameis. I want to see the guy I saw your freshman year at Florida State. I don't want to see the guy that threw all these interceptions and had all these off-the-field things that people can say, well, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's a big deal when you're Jameis Winston.
Okay.
It's a big deal when you're the biggest celebrity in
Ladies
college
and
football.
gents, let me get lady and gents. Let me get your take on this. Our Adam Schefter is reporting that Jameis Winston, speaking of, is in Tampa Bay right now, visiting Tampa. Is this a foregone conclusion? Bucks take him?
If you ask me who's going to take him, I think they will. But I would not say this is this isn't the aha moment. Oh, that's why he's going to go there. Because I think they're probably going to bring in Marcus Mariota in a couple days. They might even bring in Bryce Petty or another quarterback. Just to kind of, they don't want to tip their hand. They probably absolutely would be willing to take phone calls. From everything, I was watching some of the combine coverage, and people are saying Lovie Smith historically has always kind of overplayed his hand, sort of, smokescreen one way. Hey, we really love Jameis Winston. All of a sudden, at the last minute, could do something different. So I think he ends up there, but I don't think by any means this is the telltale sign that he'll end up there.
Okay, Kate?
I mean, this is a necessary step, right?
Yeah,
Teams have to take, so it's not like, oh, wow, he's in Tampa Bay. That means something. But I do think they're taking him.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you that he's the #1 pick.
This, to me, is where if you have character concerns, a 15-minute interview at the Combine isn't going to get it done.
Yeah.
An extended time period where you can sit down with you, go to eat with them, you hang out with them, get them in the film room, all those types of things. This is where they're going to make their most critical decision.
Yeah, because in 15 minutes, anybody can be on.
Yeah,
anybody
absolutely.
can say the right thing.
Right.
But a whole weekend somewhere
Yeah.
where you can catch them with their guard down and you want to see how they're behaving over a long period of time, this is the time.
Yeah, and it's a 3-day visit, so you're out.
Yeah.
And the draft is April 30th. Anything can happen between now and April 30th. Your mind can change very, very quickly.
You mentioned Marcus Mariota. Coming up, let's talk about the Eagles. We're hearing rumors that they may, in fact, trade up to get one Marcus Mariota. Is that true? What do they think about it? We talk about it after the break. We'll be right back in just a few moments.